welcome to White Wolf Yoga and to today's class where we're going to be looking at finding balance through our body and mind. So we'll go ahead and get started in a standing position in mountain pose. So we want to bring our feet around about hip distance apart. We want to establish a nice strong standing foundation for the rest of the practice. So we'll begin by sending our awareness down towards the toes. Pull the toes up off the floor, spread them nice and wide, and then see if you can root them back down into the floor. As you root the toes into the ground, just gently rock the weight forwards into the balls of the feet, lifting the heels, see if we can catch our balance just for a breath, and then release the heels down onto the floor. From here, we'll just close the eyes and see if we can begin to send our awareness away from the day, away from the room, and draw all of our awareness onto the soles of our feet. And let's just get a sense of our natural alignment, our natural posture. So without trying to change anything, just notice maybe if the weight seems to be hanging a bit more in the toes. Do you feel like maybe you naturally sit back towards the heels? What about right and left side? Does one leg feel like it's holding a little bit more weight than the other? And then check out the insides and the outsides of the feet. You might notice you have a little tendency to roll inward or roll outward. And so with that awareness, just see if we can begin to find a little bit more balance through our mountain pose. So we'll gently start to rock the weight forwards and backwards between the heels and toes. Just small, gentle movements is all we need. And then begin to reduce that sway in motion until you feel that the weight's a bit more equally balanced between the front and the back of the foot. And then we'll go side to side, from left to right. Feel how that weight shifts. And again, slowly begin to reduce that sway. And so you feel the weight now is equally spread between not only the front and the back of the feet, but also between the left and the right side. Imagine the soles of the foot like a car. So we've got two front wheels underneath the big toe and the little toe, and our back wheels at either side of the heel. And can we put equal pressure through each of those wheels so that we're nice and evenly spreading our body weight between both feet in each of the four corners. Then we'll allow that awareness just to float a little bit higher, so moving it up towards the knees. Feel the knees draw towards the hips as the thighs engage. We want to bring our belly button in towards the spine just to start to feel the core activate. Our ribs, can we zip them in nice and tight through this part of the body? We'll take an inhale together and we'll shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. And then as we exhale, slide the shoulder blades down the back. Feel the shoulders relax. The arms are extending down towards the floor. From here, we'll take a few breaths, bringing in our first little bit of balance. So taking an inhale, come up onto the toes as we reach the arms all the way up. And as we exhale, take the hands down to the heart and the heels down to the floor. Let's try a few more of these. Inhale to grow nice and tall as the arms reach up high. And then as we exhale, we'll ground the heels and take the hands past the heart, last one. Inhale, slow as you can with as much control as you can find. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, nice. Hands all the way down, past the heart. We'll bring our hands onto our hips. So the left hand stays on the left hip and inhale the right arm up into the air. We're trying to find as much length along that right side of the body as we can. So reach and extend that right arm up to the ceiling. And then when it's nice and long, we'll take a little side stretch, drawing that right hand over towards the left, pushing the hips towards the right. Depth, as always, it's not important. What we want to prioritize and maintain is the openness of the chest. So see if you can rotate that right shoulder back, the left shoulder forward. That'll stop us doing this, collapsing the arm in front of the face. If you want a little bit more and you're fine through the head and the neck, try looking up towards that right wrist. Feel all that skin stretching over the right side of the body, along the ribs, along the waist and into the hip. And take a nice deep inhale into the right lung. Feel the stretch deepen. And as we exhale, we'll release, we'll come out. Getting ready to move the other way. Right hand comes onto the right hip. Inhale, left arm up. As long as you can along that left side of the body. Now reach as if you're trying to touch the sky. Maintain that length. And with your next exhale, take the left hand over towards the right. Keep opening those shoulders, heart forward towards the front. Gaze can be up towards the top wrist, or if it's more comfortable on the head and on the neck, feel free to gaze to the floor. Take a nice deep inhale in through the left lung. Feel the ribs expand. Feel the waist grow. And then as we exhale, we'll release that left hand all the way back down onto the left hip. Keeping the hands on the hips, but rather we're just going to change the position of the hands. So they're sliding around towards the back of the hip and the elbows are coming towards each other behind the body. This is going to allow us a bit more openness here into our hearts. Press down through the feet. Inhale, lift the heart nice and high. And then as you exhale, just gently moving the hips forward, being careful not to compress that lower back. We're thinking of this more as a heart lift than a back bend, so keep opening through that heart center. You can look forward, you can look up, or if it feels fine on the neck, you could gaze up to the ceiling. We just don't want to be turning our neck from side to side here in this. Let's come back to the middle. Inhale to center. Soften the knees. Nice deep bend in the knees as you release the hands from the hips, and we'll just drop all the way down into ragdoll forward fold. Take the hands onto opposite elbows and swing and sway the arms softly and gently from side to side. Just getting a sense for how you're feeling along this back line of the body today. As well as moving the arms gently, you can also bring in a little bit of movement into the legs, alternating between bending one knee and straightening the other. And as you connect more deeply to the legs, notice maybe if you've got one leg that feels tighter than the other. If that's the case, try and hold and breathe on that tighter leg, just for an extra couple of breaths, just to see if we can begin, first of all, to find some balance with our alignment. What's going on in the neck and in the shoulders? Let's find softness through the shoulders as we draw the chin in towards the chest to lengthen the neck. Make sure the facial muscles are nice and soft, maybe open the mouth slightly. No scrunching through the eyes, completely relaxed through the forehead. And we'll give the head a little shake side to side, shaking away any tightness, shaking away any tension. And then up and down a couple of times, forwards and backwards, side to side. When you're ready, slide them hands off the elbows, bring them up on top of the shins, and we'll take a breath to lead us up into flat back position where the head comes to around about hip height. Just giving our spines an opportunity to rebalance, the blood pressure an opportunity to come back to a normal steady rate. And then when you feel ready, from flat back, push all the way down through the feet. Take a nice deep inhale, arms up, and exhale, hands down. Pass the heart into our mountain pose. Give a little shake off, so just shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs, the hands and the feet, wherever you need. Okay, then let's start to look at our first few balance focus poses. So our core here is going to be our center of strength through balance. So while we can remember, we want to keep pulling in that navel towards the spine so that the core stays active. Again, we mentioned it briefly before. Be aware of what the ribs are doing. So if the ribs feel like they're opening out, see if you can zip them in and close them nice and tight so we're really strong through this part of the body. We'll bring our hands onto our hips. We want to use our eye gaze as much as we can to our advantage through balance. So look for a little point on the floor or on the wall. We call it a drishti point. So anything, it might be a little speck on your carpet or on the floor, something that's going to stay still. Pick something and allow the eyes to gently rest on that point and try and keep them there through the balance. We'll shift our weight into our right foot. Right leg feels nice and strong. And inhale in the left knee. Can we release the left hand and just place it underneath the left knee and just hold here. Watch what the back and the chest is doing. If it feels a little bit rounded, try and pull it forward and up. Core active, ribs in. Let's just alternate here between pointing and flexing that left foot a few times. And then can we twirl the ankle? A couple of times in one direction, a couple of times in the other. And then release. Left foot down. Shift the weight. Keep our eyes focused and inhale in our right knee. So we're using the strength of the core to pick up that knee towards the body, and then we'll take the right hand just underneath the right knee and hold here. Now if this is tricky, you can step off your mat and onto a harder surface. That makes the balance easier. You can always go to a wall for support as well if you prefer just a little bit of security through the balance. Let's go between that flexion and extension of the foot, and then we'll twirl both ways. So just getting our brain and our bodies into gear for this balance. Release, right foot down. Again, little shake off. Moving the foot in a different direction. So before we just move into this pose, release yourself of any pressure to be completely still through balance. In fact, if you have a little wobble or you have a little fall, that's just an indication that the brain and the body are creating new connections, and that in fact you're learning through the pose. So don't think of a wobble or a fall as a mistake. It's all a part of the process. Let's move back to our right foot as standing foot. So we've got this straight line running through the hip, the knee and the ankle on that right side. And we're feeling really grounded through the sole of that right foot. With the left foot this time, we're going to pick it up, take hold of the outside of the foot, and see if we can draw the heel of the left foot in towards the left hip. We can bring that right hand onto the right hip, it'll just give us a bit more stability. Our eye gaze is focused. And then we're going to hold this balance, but use it to give ourselves a little stretch into the hip flexor and the quad on this left side. So can you gently move the hips forward and lift the heart? Just a tiny back bend, front line opening position, but combining that focus of balance. Keep breathing as you hold. It's really easy to forget about the breath when there's that many other things to think about, but try and keep that breath flowing, that energy moving through the body. Well done, release. If you can, with as much control as we come in, come out. Hand back on the hip, left foot down. Maybe have a little shake off, not too much, we don't want to lose our focus. Just release where you need to, shift into that left leg. Core in, ribs in, eye gaze focused. We'll pick up the right leg. Taking hold of the right foot and drawing that heel in towards the hip. See if we can start to stretch into that left hip flexor. Gently draw the right hip forward. Keep pulling with the hand, that heel in towards the bum cheek on the right side. Keep breathing. And one. Release. Release that right leg all the way back down and give it a little shake off. So we're going to move from standing balanced to something on the mat. We'll take ourselves from the top of the mat just down with a little bit of a flow. So we'll inhale to reach, arms draw up. And then as we exhale, bend the knees to help protect the lower back and drop all the way down into our forward fold. Take this nice and easy, nice and gently. Again, you can come back into that alternation of bending one knee and straightening the other if it feels good. And then soften both knees until you can plant the hands firmly down into the ground, shoulder width apart. And one by one, we're going to take our knees into a tabletop position. So we're on all fours. Shoulders and elbows and wrists aligned, fingers spread nice and wide. Knees directly beneath the hips, toes are flat. Let's just take a couple of rounds of cow and cat here. So we'll inhale, press through the palms, the toes, lift the hips and the heart into cow stretch. And then moving the other way, bring the navel in towards the spine, push the heart upwards and draw the chin towards the chest for cat. Just matching now the movement of the body with the movement of the breath. We'll inhale to rock up into cow, and we'll exhale to press back into cat. Once more on either side, inhale to push up and open, and exhale to round off and back. Okay, then let's try a balance using tabletop as our foundation to work from. So, hands are rooted into the floor. We're going to take our right leg back, keeping the right toes on the ground, and press into that right heel. So you're extending the right heel away from the body. Should feel like a nice stretch along that calf and up towards the hamstring. Now from here, we're going to turn the right toes to the side,
And see if we can plant the whole of that right foot on the floor. So we're not just balancing on the inner edge, we're pushing into the outer edge at the same time. That'll give us a bit more stability. See how you feel as you maybe start to take that right hand from the ground and up onto the right hip, and we're opening the body. That openness through the shoulders that we were looking for in our warm-up. We're seeing if we can bring it back here. Rotate that right shoulder back and the left shoulder forward. Options, if you want to go a little bit deeper, try picking up that right arm into the sky. Core in, ribs in. If you want a little bit more, extend that right arm over. Bicep by the ear, the right fingers reaching away from the body. Keep connected to how you feel and just stay with the option that's enough for you. If you do want a little bit more of a challenge, a further option would be to pick up that right leg. Keep the right toes flexed. Final option, send our drishti, our eye gaze, up towards the right wrist. Hold and breathe. If we can, we'll take 3. Nice and strong. 2. And 1. Slowly, can we take that right hand back down underneath the right shoulder and slide the right knee back underneath the right hip. Let's have a little relax as we drop the hips back towards the heels and fall into our child's pose. So switching off the muscles as we come down, reconnecting to the breath. As much as we can, we'll stay with that slow, deep abdominal breathing, in and out through the nose, and in and out through the belly. When you feel ready to continue, we'll move into the opposite side, so looking forward. Inhale, roll back up into tabletop. Nice and strong through the arms. Watching, and I'm the worst for this, hyperextension of the elbow. So this is something that's more common in women than men. It can be to do with an excess collagen in the joints, and it's something that you tend to be susceptible to or not. If you've got this tendency to lock out the joints like this, try and avoid it. You want to bring the eyes of the elbows in towards each other rather than locking out. And that way we know we're going to be activating the muscles around the joint. It's going to protect the joint and just strengthen our muscles either side of the joint that little bit more effectively. So nice strong arms, core in. Take the left leg back and we'll push into that left heel. Couple of breaths. See how you're doing in the back of that left leg. Imagine you've got a wall right behind that heel and you're pressing the heel deeply into the wall. And then we'll turn the left toes to the side. Again, we want to be careful that we're not just balancing on the inner edge of the foot, pressing to the outside of the foot too. When you feel ready, see if you can peel up that left hand. Take it onto the left hip. Eye gaze focused. Left shoulder rolling back, right shoulder rolling forward. Perhaps take up that left arm straight into the sky. Maybe take that left arm over, bicep by the ear, left fingers reach out to the side. Final option, if you want to take it, pick up the left leg and flex the left toes. Maybe send the eye gaze towards that left wrist. Keep holding, keep breathing, keep opening for 3 if you can. For 2. And 1. Release. Left hand back underneath the left shoulder, right knee back underneath the right hip. Push back, relax, child's pose. And we'll just take 3 breaths here. A chance, a space to reconnect, to re-energize. Before we slowly flow all the way back up to standing, where we'll finish with one last balance for today. So looking forward towards the hands. Inhale, roll up, tabletop. From tabletop, we'll tuck the toes under, and exhale, push back into down dog. Nice and easy, give those heels a little pedal up and down. And picking the hips up nice and high towards the sky, dropping the head between the arms. And then we'll start to, from walking the dog, we'll start to just walk them feet all the way in towards the hands. Hold here and fold for a breath or 2. Before rooting down through the soles of the feet, and inhale to draw the arms all the way up. Little lift of the heart, and as we exhale, we'll take the hands down, past the heart center, back into our mountain pose.
Okay, ready for one last balance. So this is a tricky balance. It involves our arms, our upper body, as well as our legs, our lower body. So it's a little bit more for the brain to think about. Just a reminder, no pressure to find complete stillness through the pose. Take that pressure off yourself and just enjoy the challenge of a balance. Most people, when starting out at yoga, find balance element the most tricky aspect. So give yourself the space to learn, and let's have a go. We've got our feet hip distance apart. We're rooting down through the soles of the feet. Again, strong in the core, ribs in. Take an inhale, reach, arms all the way up. Now we're going to identify which is our right hand. And we're going to take the right arm underneath the left. Now there's a few different options for hand position. We can go hands on the backs of the shoulders. We can bring the backs of the hands together. Or if you can reach, bring the palms of the hands together. The point of the arm position, is to get us a nice stretch across the shoulder blades. Let's see maybe if we can go a little bit deeper with this. We'll inhale the elbows up and we'll exhale the forearms forward. See, can we feel that across the upper back? Another breath, inhale, lift, and exhale, draw the arms forward. So hopefully we're all feeling that now across the shoulders. And we want to stay with this stretch as we bring in the balance. So can we start to sink the weight into the heels, sort of as if we were going to take a chair pose, so we're sitting the weight back, we're pushing the bum away. Now we're going to transfer the weight onto the left leg, pick this right leg up and over. Options again with the foot. Now we can go toes onto the floor, it's a bit easier. Pick the right toes up, a bit harder. Harder still, if you fancy it, wrap that right foot around the left calf. Bound eagle. Push the hips back, engage the core. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forearms forward. Find your drishti, your focal point, and let's hold and breathe if we can. For another 3. Another 2. And 1. Well done, let's release. Press through the left foot. Release the right leg back and down underneath the hip. Take the arms down by the sides. A little shake off. Ready to move onto our last side, last pose. Inhale, arms up. Left arm is going underneath the right. Options, hands on shoulders, backs of hands together. If you can reach, palms of hands together. Remember, flexibility might be really different from one side of the body to the other, so you don't need to take the same options on both sides if it's not feeling good. Okay, then let's find that stretch across the upper back. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, forearms forward. Maybe we can take this a little deeper. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, draw the forearms forward and start to sink. Sinking into our heels, pushing the hips back. Let's transfer the weight into the right leg, picking the left leg up and over. Option 1, toes stay grounded. Option 2, pick the foot up. If you're going for it, option 3, bound eagle, wrap that left foot around the right calf. If you're going for this one, watch any discomfort in the knees, and if you feel that, keep the foot on the floor for support. Just another breath to send us that little bit deeper if we can. Inhale, elbows lift, exhale, forearms forward, and breathe this out for 3. Maintain that focus and that flow of breath. 2. And 1, release. Press into the right foot, left leg out, left foot down underneath the left hip. Exhale the arms down by the sides. Last breath to finish. Inhale those arms up and into the sky. Hands into prayer. And as we exhale, we'll take the hands down, past the heart, back to mountain. Namaste.